Everybody, welcome back. It's Business, and let's go over a few things about destroyers and why you should prioritize them. So, Epicenter on Tears of the Desert. This map sucks. I really don't like it. And Epicenter, I really enjoy with Trident, but I have a hard time liking it with this because there's just nothing in the middle at all. And with the nature of the map and where the islands are, it doesn't lead to, it's not very conducive to interesting gameplay. Now, a lot of people don't seem to know that you have to kind of get towards the center and stop these caps, and not only that, you have to spot DDs and hit them, reset the cap, that sort of thing. And this is high tier, of course. So, this is a tier 10 match. They have a ton of German battleships. They have 3 Bismarcks and 2 Tirpitz. That really sucks for me because they're just going to be able to spot everything, and I can't get too close because of hell, I can barely get into firing range because the Bismarck secondaries. So that's a problem. But they also have a Shimakaze, a Kagero, a Fletcher, and 2 Bensons. Those 3 US destroyers are here in the center, and that's what I've been trying to deal with here. And thankfully I come away with not too much in the way of damage, but there is a New Orleans coming in, so I have to get the hell out of here now. And what I'm not really paying attention to here is the Kagero and the Shimakaze are actually right there spotted on my flank. They're right ahead of me. And I'm going to open up on this New Orleans here to just try to remove the radar from the playing field and hopefully give myself a better chance in the mid-late game to be able to come back and do something here. Although, actually, we're 6.5 minutes in, and things are not looking good at this point. So we're already down. Well, we just traded a couple kills there, so we're still down about 300 points. Now this Tirpitz is in serious trouble, and at this point I'm like, well, crap, time to get to work against some of these guys, which to me this is beautiful. This is the wheelhouse for the Fletcher to go up against Japanese destroyers, and I didn't know it at the time, but they had already dumped their torps, so I was just trying to play a little bit cautiously here so I didn't have to try to dodge and weave one rack and end up getting killed by another. So certainly the better way to play it is a bit on the safe side, and boom, he's gone. Alright, now to switch over to the Shimakaze, who is backing up, and get a few hits there. At this point, you can see on the mini-map, the enemy team has pushed around the north side, and they're driving south a bit. I believe we have a Kagero up there, and there's a battleship too. I just don't have the time to pay attention to any of them. So enemy Benson over there, and there's a situation that develops here where the Benson comes back around, and I was really hoping to unload on this guy. I do have Sir Monkey with me, and he's, I believe, in his Neptune. Now I'm sending one rack in the hopes that he's going to cut back and run into my first rack here, and I just want to kind of wait and see how things develop before I commit both racks. Now I have to tactically beach here and pop my smoke, which really sucked. I was hoping to avoid that altogether as far as using my smoke, but it's around this time that I start to notice that there's some more action going on here just beyond this island, and there's an Otago that's moving in pretty quickly. So I dump my next set of torps here in the hopes that, again, the Benson will cut back, and he's obviously paying attention. He knows I've only sent one rack, so he should expect another, or at least he's being a bit cautious about it. But I was really hoping to see a kill come up from a single torp hit, and about that time is when I see the Otago make a run for it right through the gap here, and I don't know if he's gonna turn in or turn out or whatever, so I just stick with what the target lead indicator says and tactically beach again, because the Benson is trying to get a better angle into the smoke and send the torps there. As you can see, they're really close, and around that time is when the Otago detects me because he gets into the proxy spotting range of 1.9 kilometers. But right around this time is when my torps get reloaded, and thankfully I had those offset, and booyah, there you go. But look at that, doink. So, and I almost get team torp there by by Sir Monkey, actually. So the single fire torps going off there. But that was a crazy situation, and it only gets worse from here because it's just me and my friendly Kagero. And we have these Bensons and the Bismarcks to deal with, and that's a lot of crap, you know? And the thing is, in situations where you're playing the destroyer, the last thing you want to do is go up against another destroyer unless you have a massive element of surprise. And I mean that in the way of what you should expect as far as taking damage, especially gunboat versus gunboat, is that it should be 1-to-1. So if you do 100 damage to a guy, he's going to do 100 damage back to you. You do 2,000, he's going to do 2,000. You should anticipate an equal trade, because that's almost the best case scenario in a 1v1. And you know, you're definitely going to take damage, especially with how fast these turrets turn around and everything. And now here comes a Bismarck through the same gap as the Atago, and again I'm waiting for my second set of torps, which naturally means my teammate dies, and I have no idea where the hell to send these torps or what is going on with my with my target here with the Bismarck. So now we get to sit and wait as I'm going up against 5 enemy ships, and got torps coming in from my starboard side. I get 1-2 torp hits there, and ding ding ding. Got number 3. So having to do a lot of work here, and it's around this time that I realized that, well, they're closing in on me. Like, I've been stuck in this sector, and it just sucks. And now Benson shows up, and I'm so close to getting a Kraken, which up to this point, I actually hadn't had a Kraken in like I don't know, it was a few weeks at least, and I think like 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks. It's been a while since I had finally picked one up, but as you can see there, Tirpitz, Bismarck, Fletcher, Benson are all still active, and there's Hydro right there that's spotting me, and I'm trying to just see if I can finish this guy off, which he ends up being a hell of a lot further away than I thought he would be. And I kind of screwed up here, and yeah, I mess up my shots. Sure enough, leads to just me being like, you know what, fuck it, I give up. This match was really difficult to take because it just shows that when people aren't focusing on clearing the enemy destroyers, you end up having to do it yourself as a destroyer. And the problem with that is that takes you away from being able to keep enemy ships away from certain areas, or being able to push up, that sort of thing. And 2165 base XP in the loss, that's pretty damn good. But I'm just kind of disappointed that this still happens as often as it does, where people don't shoot at enemy destroyers. And the purpose of this is simply to point out that if you leave a destroyer around, especially a high tier 1, there's no telling what they can do. And so in this match, I'm going to use the Fletcher again to demonstrate the sheer utility of what a destroyer can provide. And again, this is more specific, I guess, to the US destroyers, simply because of the usage and overall effectiveness of defensive fire, and their long-lasting smoke, and in this case, you know, 90.1 second reload on my torps, because it's awesome. I love running Torp Mod 3 on this. I think it's brilliant. The way you can use that in conjunction with the smoke and actually have 2 Torp loads sent out while you're still having a smoke that's active. I mean, that's pretty awesome. So anyways, Khabarovsk, don't want any part of that. And I was anticipating something here on my left, which is why I came to a stop. I can't really remember what I was thinking here, but there's another destroyer over there, and I don't want to have any part of that. Plenty of other ships that are here too. There's a Chapiev, they've got a Neptune, and we do have our division with Swagger in the Iowa, and also we have, let's see, Sir Monkey in the Neptune as well. So the important part here is just to get established. We're focusing on A and B, which is why you see nobody going towards C, and I am the eyes and ears right now of this team as far as what is going on around this corner. So there's a Yamato over there. There's also a Friedrich de Gross, which is right there. I sent the torps towards him specifically to try to slow him down, or if he decided to, run out into those torps, then that would have been great too. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and I'm pretty sure he had hydroactive. So we do have a situation here, though, as we're trying to cap B. Let's see, Swagger, at this point, I think he's taken a fair amount of damage, and there's smoke all over the place. Oh yeah, he's down to like 40% health, which is really not good. Sir Monkey is trying to stay in his smoke so he can just unload the torps, or I'm sorry, his AP rounds from his Neptune and just try to shred these guys, because I'll say this, I may not like the British cruisers, but I'll be damned if that damage doesn't rack up very, very, very quickly. There are a whole spread of torps coming in here, and I was positioning myself to be able to dodge that. I know I would have, so don't try to fight me on that one. But I send another wave of torps. Half the time when I send torps, I'm not really concerned about them hitting. It's just control. People see the torps, they freak out, they turn away, they turn out, they expose their sides, and that opens them up for all sorts of crap. Anything to disrupt the movement of my enemy is a great thing, and it just provides a delay. It provides an opportunity. There's always, well, hopefully there's always an option there. Now I do get one torp on the Friedrich there, and now there's a Fletcher without any camo, and trying to call him out and get some damage done to him. Now there's some torps coming in from the Fletcher. Luckily, Swagger's able to hug the island a bit and avoid those entirely. But we also have a situation with the other ships that are coming in here. We're trying to hold this down a little bit, and we're waiting for the rest of our team to get going and get involved. And that's about the time that the Hakuryu sends his strike package for Swagger. Now, this isn't a good situation. Swagger is really low on health to begin with, and he just hit his repair too, or the fires just went out, either way. And there's 3 torp squadrons, 2 dive bomber squadrons, and I pop my defensive fire. I've got my smoke ready here in a moment, but look at this. We got all those torps in the water, and he's able to survive a bit. So he lost half of his remaining health, and he's able to get off a few more salvos. That should have been a kill. Realistically, the Hakuryu should have had no issue whatsoever killing Swagger there. And, well, now he's dead. Now, I screw up on this torp spread. I knew he was going to turn to his right, and I didn't set those up to be able to damage him in any meaningful way. So, in this instance, it's one of those things where, again, he's having to turn out, he's having to, even though I screwed up, it's going to work out fine. As he's starting to take, more damage, he gets a torp right in the rear, so that's a good amount of damage, and then one along the side, too. So, I got 2 torp hits, but he was already repairing anyways. It's not going to be the end of the world for him if he can get out of here. And this is that type of scenario I was talking about, where this isn't what the guy wanted to do. And now he's removing his guns from the playing field because he's got to turn. He's got to hug this island to try to get the hell away from me and, any more torps that are coming in at him. So maybe it was just a bad move on his part to move up without any real help or protection, but regardless, this is the situation he's in now, and he's burning like crazy. He's got, a lot of concentrated fire coming in at him, and it's really just a matter of time before he finally succumbs to the weight of concentrated fire, which is always good to see, of course. So now I'm kind of stuck in this situation just a couple moments later, because there's still a Chapiev that's over here, and down to the south there's a Montana and the Khabarovsk, and I'm very, very closely watching the movements of the cab, because I need to make sure that I'm not going to get blasted in the ass by him when I least expect it. He may be a little on the lower health side right now, but still, going up against the cab is not my idea of any fun when I'm, well, regardless of what ship I'm in. But I am a sitting duck here, and instead of going for me, the Hakuryu goes for Arizumo, so I popped defensive fire. Actually, it was for me because I really did think he was coming for me, but enemy Fletcher gets spotted, and take a look at this. The Izumo is pretty damn close to full health there, and I look back here and see that my defensive fire did work, and the guy lost half his health. That's a ton of damage, but when I went back and looked at this again, and you know, I looked at this replay quite a few times, the drop that the Haku had on him was perfect. And if it wasn't for the defensive fire, that would have been very possibly a devastating strike. He would have had a ton of torps hit him, and he was very lucky to lose only half his life. So the enemy Fletcher shows up again, and the Montana gets a close quarters expert there, so nice little backup from him, and you can see on the mini-map he's just behind me here. I'm still keeping a close eye on the mini-map to watch where that Khabarovsk is coming from, so it looks like he's going to be coming up to C, and Chapiev is kind of hanging around here, looks to be pressing around against our Montana, maybe, so I decided to throw some torps that way, and still trying to find what other ships are over here still. So turns out there's the Atago, and I'm hoping that with all of his speed, the Khabarovsk just walks right in and takes those torps on the face, and I don't have to deal with them. But yeah, wishful thinking. So the Montana has certainly taken some damage here, and it looks like he is just fine against that Chapiev. So at that range, I mean, that's, yeah, there's very little a Chapiev's going to be able to do against the Montana and its cruiser killing abilities. So some torps here from the Atago, thankfully nice and straight, so I don't have to worry about getting nailed from him. And again, just around that time that I expect to see the Khabarovsk, sure enough. And I should have been using AP here, because at the health he's at, he's damage saturated at this point, and he's just not going to take much in the way of damage from me, not from my HE shells. But the Montana follows it up and lands a killing blow there on him, and I'm back to being concealed. And time to throw some torps around, because I really want to get rid of this Atago. It's going to be a problem for me if I can't move in on C. And while this Haku's still around, and right there is when he decides to come after me. Now this is a interesting situation. So I pop my smoke because I want to, if I can, get back into concealment so the Atago's not shooting at me, so that's why I popped it. But I am in the other spectator camera here. The dive bomber's missed, but he does drop torps from 3 different directions, and look at this. Holy shit. Ooh boy, and I managed to torp hit on the Atago, so that was good. But take a look at this again from another perspective. So got the torps coming in there from, I'm guessing that was the yeah, that was the Khabarovsk. And look at that drop. Now, again, he did a good job setting this up, but he just didn't offset it enough to be able to hit me. And trust me, I was more than happy about that. But think about this now. Against the Iowa, against Swagger, he should have killed him, right? He should have killed the Izumo, and he should have been able to get at least a hit or 2 on me. All of that has been mitigated. Like, I mean, that's a lot of damage and a lot of time wasted that turns out to be, well, pretty much fruitless effort. And that just really drives the point home that I've been trying to make, is if you're not focusing destroyers, and let's be real here, right at the start, I should have taken a hell of a lot more damage when I was near C, and certainly could have taken more damage there when I was sitting around at B. But realistically, I didn't do that much this match. I was just helping people out, you know, and trying to secure a victory by utility. And that's why I always try to target, and I mean, you've seen this time and time again with my videos where I say, you'll see it in the chat, where I say, you know, target DDs first, please focus DDs ASAP, you know, get this guy out of here, that sort of thing. Because it makes such a huge difference. The longer you have a destroyer active, the more and more dangerous they become, as you have less spotting, you have less health to share, like as far as the the health pool is concerned, and there's another kill denied for the enemy Haku, and there's the win. It all adds up, and if you're not going to shoot at a destroyer, you're doing your team and ultimately yourself a disservice. I mean, look at this. Would you really say I did much to earn the top spot? I mean, I wasn't terribly effective with torpedoes in terms of getting them to hit targets, but it did control things. My guns, I tried to use them wherever I could, and same with defensive fire. It all adds up, and that's the important part, and that is team play, and that's how I hope more people would play. But regardless, I will have the gearing and Bismarck overviews soon, hopefully within a week or two. Be sure to check up on Twitter as well. I give a heads up as to when I stream there. But thanks for watching today, guys, and I'll see you back here soon. Take care.